everybody go tapping with the pot.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on
and you are tuned into the Pot Podcast.
With the Pop Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down. To follow the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.
Manolo, freshly fitted in polo. My money got O's like Ocho. EYI's the label, check out the logo. If you wanna bounce, bitch, pogo. Built this here on my own, ho. Step to the side, let me slide in this photo. Been a businessman, I got euros and pesos. Real definition of a hustle flip all dough. Might see me deep in my bag, Robert De Niro. Shooting at you niggas like Steph and Hero. Beef, I'm about that nigga, deflate your ego. I'm out of state doing great, me and me go. Can't fast forward the game, there's no cheat code. Your bitch on my line all day, just like a free throw. It's over for you niggas, check the last bar, finito. And I feel right right in. Knocked the bitch and we spent the night in. First night was like a burst of life. Second night she invited a friend. You fake niggas all like to pretend. Don't mind me, I'm at it again. I'm ahead so close, all I see is the wind. It's a little too late for the competition. Not to mention, I've been penny pinching. With a sack so fat, I don't need attention. I got connects with Jordan, I'm the real pimpin'. Soaking in my thoughts, call it double dipping. Choose the right light, you can never lose sight. Take a leap of faith, it's great, you'll be alright. Pop the champagne, it's the ace of spade night. They betting on me like a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Any girl that wanted Dior, I'll be your whore. If you adore her, Dior her.
I know exactly what they want. I know exactly what they want. Just be patient. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me, y'all keep the fame. I want the glory, been that nigga, bitches never ignored me. Rich in spirit, little bitch can't afford me. Day one static, fix it with a 4G. Red beam on it, you think I'm recording. Kick in front doors, you try to backdoor me. We are not a gang, bitch, we an army. Book a den, you know I don't tell stories. Keep it 100 in the light, man. You niggas fake baby K name Adonis. Mini Drake, clip curl, but somehow I can shoot it straight. Insta clip, I can shoot 4 minutes straight. Turn this to the Super Bowl if I need to. I can hit your chief up with an eagle. Set you up on the score, but they lied to you. Why you letting them niggas mislead you? My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. You won't see it coming. I move like a crook, a thief in the night. So watch what you put. My aim precise. These bullets 12 inches long. A block away, I could take off the foot. Don't ask me no questions if you know my stance. Bitch, I'm the man, so thanks in advance. They mean a rifle on top of a tripod. If they ever tell you I was taking a stand. Think I run up on me, but I'm way too advanced. Spinning with choppers, turn you into a fan. Can show you the steps, but won't hold your hands. They thought they could stop me, it ain't go as planned. How I get this far? Cause I took a chance. Really got ranked, keeping it a band. This ain't what you think, better think again. This ain't what you think, you better think again. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster.
Yo, what's up, y'all? You're now tuned into another episode of the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic. Hey, y'all, we here. I hope y'all enjoying yourselves on this hump day. And as always, we got to get over the hump. Why not spend it here getting over the hump with your boy? Hey, listen, as always, this episode is brought to you by Collywood TV, Collywood Radio, Dollar Radio, Going In Radio, DamaniBrand.com, and NorthShadeTheMoreBoutique.com. How y'all feeling out there? I'm here, as always. I'm doing what I do, playing my tunes, chilling. I felt like playing some Daniela because I ain't played that in a minute. And I also felt like playing a throwback joint, the other throwback joint. So we're going to get it booming, as always. But listen, I have a guest in here, as always. And this particular person is the media guy. You know, they call me that too, but he the media guy for real. You know what I'm saying? He be going that, you know what I'm saying? So he wear many hats. And when you wearing hats, you gotta wear hats with grace and style, and then you gotta move around. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing a hat right now. Y'all know I'm usually bald. I feel like my East Coast roots, my up north roots today. Scully on like what? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I got the media guy here. So we're going to bring that energy to y'all, and he's going to bring that energy to y'all. So without a further ado, I'll bring you the media guy, Nathaniel Moore. What's cracking, my boy?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here, man. I appreciate you having me on your show. Um, Man, I've been looking forward to this, man. So let's kick it off right, man. Let's kick it off
Hey,
right.
hey man, listen. So Solo Dolo Cam is on you because I like to let my guests give themselves a formal introduction. So the floor is
Okay.
yours, and give yourself an introduction, to my viewers.
Okay.
And do your thing, King.
Um, I am what you'd call the media guru. I have extensive experience in media, public relations, crisis management. I've worked in radio stations, TV stations, news stations, and my strength lies in branding, whether it be marketing, advertising, promotion, guerrilla marketing. Um, Also an advocate outside of entrepreneur. I've also pastored an apostolic church for a few years, and so now I am putting together my empire. Um, and doing some big things, man. Because the media has put a big slant on our culture, on our entrepreneurs, on our legends, and so it's about time that somebody stands up in this generation and kind of grab a hold of the media, and so that our story can be told our way. So listen, follow me everywhere, and we're gonna get this kicked off, man. I don't do no holds bars. Anybody know that's ever seen me on my podcast know that I am unfiltered, unedited. And listen, if it comes to my mind, I'm gonna say it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But listen, always gonna be authentic, man. Seriously.
Bombs one time for that. Long as we keep it clean, you know what I mean? We good on the
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right, man. So let's get into it. You know what I mean? Who is Nathaniel Moore beyond the titles and accomplishments? Break it down.
I'm a regular guy in the sense of, when I say regular, I mean that a lot of times, because a lot of work that I do is in front of crowds, whether it be doing workshops, whether it be doing seminars, whether it be doing trainings. So I do a lot of public speaking, but a lot of times people mistake that like I'm very extroverted. No, I'm very much an introvert. I like to just be home watching my favorite shows, eating some wings, some pizza, not really high maintenance type of dude. I'm a real humble type of dude. And
Yeah.
I believe in, you know, uh, 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 talking the truth. And I don't have no. I don't. One thing I don't like. Number one thing is big about me. I do not like nepotism. I'll call it out whether who you are, grandmother, mother, pop, sister, brother, BFF. I tell it the way it is. And again, some people don't like that. Some people do. So I learned a long time ago that whether you're doing good in life, whether you're doing bad in life, you're still gonna face opposition, the hate, so you might as well be authentically who you're gonna be, because if you're gonna face that hate, then you might as well at least face it being real.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I couldn't agree with you more, man. So let me ask you, when
Hmm.
people hear media executive strategists, media executive and strategists, what
Hmm.
do you really want them to understand about your work?
What I do is sort of an art and a science combined. And so my job as a media guru is to help the public see whatever project that I'm working on in a good light. So if I'm working with an organization, my first priority is to always make sure how the public views this project, this entrepreneur, this business, this organization. And so when you're really good at media, at public relations, you have to understand human behavior. You have to understand, just the way that humans work, the way that trends evolve. You have to understand multiple different things, and you have to be. My brain is always thinking, and eventually that will reflect on your personal life. Because I'm very careful of what I say and what I do in public. I'm very careful because you could be in a networking event and you can be talking something crazy, and you're never aware, or you never know if there's an open mic somewhere. And so you always have to be careful when you're in the media. You have to be careful what happens. I guarantee you, none of us are perfect. So we all have some mess-ups and some missteps. But I'm always careful about what I say in public. I'm always careful about what I do in public. I'm always careful about where I'm going, and because I'm mindful that people are always watching you, whether you know it or not. And just the time that you out here shucking and jiving and slipping around, somebody gonna have you on that TMZ and you're gonna be looking crazy. And the one thing that I know for sure, we can lay down tonight, March 18th, and be everything is cool. Wake up in the morning, social media will destroy you. So it's very
Whole
imperative.
clip rolling.
Listen, so it's very important that you be mindful. I don't care if you in a party, if you in a club. When a person
Yeah.
asks you something on the record, you never speak unless you can be sure that what you're saying is accurate. And you don't want to be in a small group thinking you just talking about. So, oh, look at bro, yo, his sneakers is mad dirty, and they recording you. And nowadays, people are dirty. They will do you bad, post it, and watch your life be destroyed over nothing. And before I turn it back over to you, a lot of times the hate that you will face will be from people that's doing better than you. They don't know it because they see your swag, and like they may see, oh, how this dude in North Carolina, and nah, bro, I got that Northeast swag. Y'all understand? I'm not from North
Yeah.
Carolina. I
Yeah, I'm
so
from up top.
so when they see you, they don't they mistake, because when you from the Northeast, we got a certain swag about us. Like, listen, you
That's
can't
a
tell me
fact.
nothing, bro. So when people see that, they think that you're doing better than what you are, because I'm born naturally. This is in my blood. This East Coast swag is in my blood. So it's nothing that I really got to do. But when you see me, you feel inferior because my braggadocious swag is so big. I'm so New York with it. You so Philly with it. Like they like, oh, and they doing better than you. They got mass sponsors. They driving in a brand new Escalade. You like, why you hating on me? Like,
Yeah.
but it is what
Yeah.
it is, man.
Hey man, I get it, man,
Yeah.
because in this business, I find that, there are people that are doing better, but they still asking me like, well, how you do that? How you do this? Like, I'm gonna get them the sauce. And they thinking that because they doing better and they up, then I'm just gonna be willing to just give my sauce up. Like, it
Nah,
don't work that
consultation fee. We gotta do a
way.
consultation, man. I gotta send you that invoice, you heard?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so let me ask you, man. You from New York? What part of New York you from?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, but now currently I live in the Albany area.
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
where the
I'm
money
born.
at.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm a real New Yorker, man. And I know people like, oh, what that mean? There's a difference between being from New York and being a real New Yorker.
New Yorker,
When
yeah.
when you a New Yorker, that means that everything, good or bad, about the city you love. I love the traffic jams. I love the smell of the tar. I love the sound of the sirens, the bus, the city bus. I love the smell of the water, the hot dog, the concrete. I love everything about it. And on top of that, sometimes New Yorkers, when they're driving, they can get you to where they go, but then you put them on a train, they get lost. And then sometimes it's vice versa. You put them on the train, they can get to where they're going, but you send them driving and they get lost. With me, I know both ways. I can get you where you're going, driving and the train. I know, New York City generally like the back of my hand. I don't need no GPS. I'm New York like to the core. Like I like to just listen to the sounds of the city. Like that's how really much of a New Yorker I am. You know what I'm saying? But I'm outside, man. I be everywhere, man. I be in Philly too, man. I be on the west side, man. I be outside, man.
He
Telling
said he New York to the death of him. Y'all hear him? But he get around. He move around.
you. How they say it in Philly? The ball be outside. The
The
ball,
boy outside. You know what I'm saying?
the ball
The boy
outside.
ain't playing with y'all. Straight like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. So here's my next question. What was the defining moment that made you realize you were built to lead?
So one of the things that I noticed, and this is going the culmination of everything you just asked. Growing up, I was born in 81 in Brooklyn.
I was born
If
in
you was
82.
if you
Year
was
behind
born
you, brother.
in the 80s, if you was born that time, we had a different culture. We had a different way of life. So I was my mother's oldest. My mother was her mother's oldest. I was the oldest grandchild. So when you're the oldest, you always have the responsibility of your younger cousins, your younger siblings. You always have to lead. So I've never had a time where I can just have my time because anytime either I had my siblings or I had to watch my younger cousins, so I've always been a natural leader. Because that's just the way. And again, when we was growing up, nowadays kids have it different. Kids don't gotta be held to the same standards that we did. Growing again,
Right.
I'm not saying it was right. Because a lot of parents had babies and then made their youngest kids watch their babies. But that's just like it's in me. That's just pause. That's just a natural way of life. I don't know any other way but to be a leader. However, my grandmother always raised me, man, with this thing, this mentality, and I didn't like it back then. She always would say, "You can't do what everybody else do. Like they go into them parties, no, you can't go. Oh, you want to have sleepovers? No, you can't do that." And I used to always wonder, like, why is she always telling me I can't? Like everybody outside, the street lights done came on, they still outside, snotty nose, dusty, they shoot. Like, why I can't be outside? And then what happens is it built me up to a point where I can stand by myself and be secure. A lot of times people on social media are so afraid to be themselves and stand
That's a fact.
outside of the group. Some people are so afraid to speak truth to power. Some again, a lot of people see what I do and say, "Oh, no, it's not easy," because a lot of times I know that stuff that I may post on Facebook may make me an enemy of the state. I know what I might say is going to make me an enemy, but I don't care. I can sleep like a baby and stand 10 toes down when I say anything publicly or privately because I was groomed that way and I'm built to be by myself. I was always by myself, and my grandmother always told me, say, you make the best decisions when you think for yourself. When you're in a group and you go with them other dudes, you get arrested, you go to jail, you get in trouble, you like, no. So in order to be somebody of importance, in order to be somebody monumental, like a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, you have to be okay with being isolated and being by yourself. not because you want to, but because those that are around you will feel some type of way and they will not embrace you. And so you
That's right.
have to, like, you want to find out the people who are natural born leaders, find the people who was playing with G.I. Joes by themselves back in the 80s. Those are the people that are natural born
Right
leaders
here.
because you had to make up your own scenarios. You had to make up your own plot.
Right.
You had to entertain yourself because there was nobody there but you. So you
Hmm.
had three or four different personalities talking to yourself, playing with these. Man, listen, you already know what it is, man. So that's just something naturally that I've attained these leadership skills. I didn't go to Wharton Business School. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to Ivy League. I went to the School of Hard Knocks in Brooklyn, man. Seriously, best style,
Yeah.
you heard?
Yeah. I
It
heard
is
it.
what it is. Listen,
Brooklyn.
listen. A lot of people
Brooklyn.
a lot of people don't really like to, to really give us our proper due. They say, oh, it's old, it's over, outdated, and no, Brooklyn is still
No,
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn
man.
is
Don't
the
get it
mecca
twisted.
of the music that we listen to most. You know
Listen,
what I'm saying? So
like
we
Brooklyn
gotta
is
give it to
really
Brooklyn. You know what I'm
listen,
saying? Brooklyn and Harlem cultivated
listen.
this thing that we call hip hop. So
Actually, a lot of people say that, but if we want to be technical, hip hop. Anytime we think of hip hop or the music or the culture, we have to always put the Bronx at the forefront.
The Boogie Down Bronx was the original
The
as far as
Bronx
the
is what
breakdance,
created.
the
They
graffiti,
that's what hip hop is. Hip hop is not the music.
the
Hip hop is the way of
fashion.
life. Hip hop is the way we talk, the way we walk, the way our little bebop, the way we dress, our culture, our way of life. And so we took our regular way of life and people put it to breaks, to beats, and made what you call rap music. But hip hop is really not music. Hip hop is just a culture that in
Hmm.
turn created the music. And so hip hop, and Brooklyn has, birthed some of the biggest legends, Notorious B.I.G.,
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Old
Uh,
Dirty Bastard,
uh,
Most Def, so
yeah.
it's a lot of them that came from Brooklyn. Um, Michael Jordan. So it's like you really, Carmelo Anthony. So a lot of them have strong roots, but when it comes to hip hop, man, you got to give it to the South Bronx, man.
Yeah.
They created that, man. And here's the thing: we have to thank New York City Housing Authority for that, man, because New York City Housing Authority is where everybody gathered at and started those break parties and stuff like that.
KRS was the hottest thing smoking.
Yeah, like Grandmaster Flash, Melly
Grandmaster
Mel,
Flash, Melly
Cold Crush,
Mel,
Cold Crush Brother,
Rakim,
Curtis Blow,
Curtis Blow.
EPMD,
Yeah, yeah,
Furious Five,
yeah.
Red
Yeah, you're
Alert.
definitely right on that. You're definitely right on that, man. So, growing up, what shaped your mindset toward leadership and success?
Um, I think the first thing that kind of got me, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, what I do now snowballed by accident. Everything that I did was by accident. Nothing that I did that I'm doing now was planned. Um, so when I got out, I was blood for 10 years. I did 7 years straight in prison. When I got out, I was looking for extra money to earn. And so I started doing like speaking engagements to at-risk youth, teaching about the gang life, not, how to stay out of prison, what it entails, all of that. And it just started snowballing. People want to start hearing what I had to say and it just started spreading like that. And then I started doing workshops. Then I started doing seminars. Then I started doing training. Then I started preaching. Then I started pastoring. Like it just so many things started snowballing, man. I just started filling voids. But what was the biggest breakthrough is I had a mentor. He died. He was a big executive at Florida A&M. He was a big executive at Florida A&M. And he was like, listen, he was a public speaker. And he said, if you can't get no gigs, if you can't, then you have to create your own platform. You have to create your gigs and invite people to it. Once he told me that, it's like this man it's like he gave me unlimited gas for my car, man. Like he was like,
Yeah,
listen, if they don't book you, then you create your own situation and you have people come to you as the expert. So it made
Yeah.
me start reading. It made me start studying. And I'm a sponge. When I read something, I absorb it and I can hold retain it for a long period of time. And so I just started reading everything that interests me as far as business, as far as leadership. Stephen Covey wrote a book called the Seven Habits of a Highly Effective Person. How to win and influence people, stuff like that. Kind of just building your brand and making your presence known, and the 40 Laws of Power, the Art of War. Reading these books
Yeah, a
and
lot of
becoming
reading helps you along
like
the way.
you have. And see, this generation, they are missing that component because they have so much. They have WikiLeaks, they have a Chat GPT, they have Google, so they don't know the real hustle and bustle of researching and going to the library and getting the
They just get bits and
encyclopedias.
excerpts and
Yeah,
build from the excerpts and go from
we had
there, which is
we had to
okay,
actually go
but
to the library. Like
it's
we had
not
to go
like
to the
what we went
library.
through.
Yeah, we had to really do the work, man, for real, the footwork, for real, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. All
Yeah, we
right.
had to do the work.
So, did you always see yourself becoming a builder of systems and organizations?
Um,
Especially, you said you did prison time. Let's talk about that. Do you want to tell the people what you went in for and how you overcame,
um,
being
I,
in
I
jail?
I've definitely I would rather keep that private, but I will say this. Um, One of the things that I really believe is peer pressure is greater than what people believe it is. Um, every time that I got in trouble with the law, I was always in a crowd. Every time I stayed by myself, I was always successful. Um, and so it let me believe this one thing: you have to be secure with who you are without anybody else's input. If you do not believe in you 100%, you will fall to somebody else's rhythm. You will dance to somebody else's drum. Um, one of the things that I learned in prison, I learned structure, I learned discipline. I learned how to just focus and sit down and read and read and read. I'm okay with being by myself. I'm okay with locking in and studying and doing the research and kind of download information. Um, the biggest way that I overcame that, and this is with anybody with any circumstance, until the consequences get great enough, you're not going to stop. The consequences for me was like, you know what? I don't want to be blood no more. Like, I don't want to do this. Why am I banging because you banging? Like, I'm trying to come home on parole and I gotta carry this blade with me because I'm blood and I carry this red rag. So if anything happened, we gotta poke this. Like, nah. That is again, when it started for something that was looked upon as a noble cause, but what it evolved into was very dangerous, was very immature, is very stupid. And a lot of our black and minority brothers get caught up in that gang life because they don't have nobody to love them, they don't have nobody to listen to them, they don't have nobody to support them. And so they join these gangs, and the toughest guys in school are always the dumbest guys. So you hide behind your toughness because you're dumb. Yeah, you can shoot up the whole block and you'll murder 17 people. But if I ask you to say your 12 timetables without looking, you can't tell me them. And so one of the things that I always stress to our younger generation, you gotta be yourself, man. And when you have a dream, you gotta stick to it, because a lot of people, you tell them your dreams, they'll laugh at it, they'll tell you, nah, that's crazy, don't do that. And a year later, you look, they'll be doing the same thing, be done monetized off it and be done when you be like, hold on, you told me that was dumb, but now look at you, you know. So you gotta just be you. You have to look in the mirror and say, listen, I'm okay with everything that I've done. I can face the music. I can own up. Listen, I did this. I did this. I own up to my mistakes, and just be comfortable. Listen, if you got six baby daddies and six kids, just own up to what you did. Be you, and be confident. If you got six baby moms,
Learn
just be
from it and
you.
grow.
Be confident, Because again, the longer you allow people to use what you've done against you, the longer they'll be able to kind of dictate your movements. Once you like, that's why nobody can hold nothing against me, because on my podcast, I created my podcast about me and my life and what I've done, mistakes that I've made. So you don't have no ammunition against me because I'm putting it out myself. I'm not
So
afraid of
let's
what
talk
I've
about
done.
that. Let's talk about your podcast a little bit. Tell people the name
Mhm.
of your podcast.
The name of my podcast is called A Man's Point of View. Um, and again, most of the stuff that I've found to be very successful or very empowering came through just happenstance. Me and my best friend, we was up one night, we just talking, and we was talking about relationships and why, and basically we was talking about why men do the things we do and why we don't do what we should do, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so one day we was up, it was like 10 o'clock. I said, listen, let's go live like 11:30, and let's just talk, have a conversation, bring people on, about relationships and love and the sex and stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so we started at 11:30, and about 30 people came on and watched, man. And I'm like, hold on. So after the days went by, I'm always a person that likes to take advantage to maximize the moment. So I'm like, hold on, I got to capitalize off this, man.
Yeah.
30 people watched me at 11:30 p.m. talk about relationships. So I said, you know what? Me and my best friend, we came on every Monday night at 11 p.m. and we would talk unfiltered. As it came to my mind, it came, and we just talk real life and we talk real scenarios. So everything that we was talking about, whoever was watching, guarantee you was gonna be like, oh, nah, I went through that. Like, oh, that's how bro got out of that. Oh, that's how sis did that. And so we brought people on and they was talking. They could. One lady was at work. She was a security guard at a hospital, and she was on. You looking at her at work, and she's on just kicking it, real talk. Wasn't nobody faking. Like, it wasn't about politics. It wasn't about religion. It wasn't about. It was about us as people, as a culture. What happens in our neighborhoods between black men and black women, minorities, and and I said, what can I call this? And I said, everything that we talked about came from a male perspective. So that's what gave it the name, A Man's Point of View. And again, it didn't come easy, because a lot of stuff you have to talk about, people are not going to subscribe to, because one, it either hits them on their feet and they got to look at the mirror and look at themselves, or they either agree with it. So one of the two, either they're going to agree with it or they're not going to agree with it. And so you find that when people jump on your posts and get in your comments, it's because of one or two reasons. You either stepped on their toes and now they feel some type of way, or they agree with you, you know.
Yeah.
And once I learned, and once I put my ability to understand the trends and analytics of social media and the metrics and the statistics, it made it that much easier. For example, statistically proven, if 10 people see your content, only 30% will engage, meaning like, comment, or share.
Like,
So
comment, and
that
share. Yeah.
that means 3 people are like, commenting, and sharing. The other 7 are just watching. And so out of the 7 that are watching, half of them are going to support you. The other half are going to be trying to find a way to throw dirt on your name. And for the ones that support you, they are going to be strangers. They're going to be people that don't know you, but feel your vibe. They're going to be people that don't know you, but respect your grind, respect your hustle. Even in the Bible says that Jesus couldn't do works in his own hometown because they were too familiar with who he was and where he came from.
That's
So
right.
you will never be respected in your hometown the way you are among strangers. I've learned that the best networking opportunities always come with people outside of your comfort zone. They always come with strangers.
Hey man, I agree with you with that 1000% when it comes to business for me, and when it comes to podcasting. People I know that literally know me, they'll watch, they won't like, they won't comment, they won't share, and that's fine, because like you just said, I'll take the strangers over the people that actually know me. And then when
Right.
you look in your algorithm, you know what you see majority of the time?
You see high engagement,
95%
not your friends.
strangers and
Right.
5% of people that's your actual friends. So it's all good. Keep giving
Right.
that love. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We moving and booming out
And
here.
here's the thing. When you look at your analytics, you can tell they're watching because your numbers is up. You're like, hold
Oh,
on.
you can also see who watching at that in that moment. They be thinking nobody know that, but
Yeah,
I
you can
can
see who
see you
watching.
watching me.
And then when you go back to your engagement, like, hold on. In the last 30 days, I had 800,000 viewers. Like it shows you. It shows you
Yeah,
engagement,
yeah,
what posts you like
yeah,
when you understand that analytics and all that stuff, it
absolutely.
makes it so much better.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the next thing I'm gonna ask you, man. You've held roles like COO, program director, and PR director. What role challenged you the most mentally?
The role that challenged me the most mentally was I held the role as program manager, program director for Center for Law and Justice, um, which was in a local organization here in Albany community that advocates for those who are facing social injustice. And so I had to liaison with, our organization and the public organizations like the DA's office, the police office, different organizations like that, to kind of find out a way to make our programs great and kind of get to the heart of the matter. When police shoot unarmed black men or when stuff like that happen, we had to stand up and kind of be that voice for our culture, be that voice for our
That's right.
community. And so it was at that point that I realized that a lot of us are living on the sacrifices of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but we aren't willing to sacrifice like they sacrificed. And so that I felt personally, and again, I know this wasn't nothing personal to me, but knowing that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all of these great black legends that we have sacrificed, they knew they were targets and they still did what they did because Martin Luther King knew that he's not going to see the promise, but eventually it happened because when we go to drink out of water fountains, they don't say colored or white. It's just
That's
it's a
right.
fountain. And so
It's
it's
because they
because of
fought.
that. He fought and went to jail and got talked about, got assassinated, just so that
Got hit
me
with
and you,
rocks,
listen, got
hosed
sick with
down, bit by
dogs on him.
dogs.
Listen, he did all of that. They did all of that. They walked across the Edis Pettis Bridge in Selma. They did the Montgomery bus boycott. They did all of that so me and you could do the things that we do today. And I know that there are a lot of so many organizations that are doing great work. But one of the things that I hold myself to, and I also, charge my brothers and my sisters who are in the fight that it's not enough to just talk about it. Are we really willing to put ourselves in that position that say, listen, I have to tell the truth. I have to speak up, even if I am a target, even if what I say gets me, cancel culture, even if what I say is not liked by my family, my friends, my peers. Am I
Yeah,
strong enough to still say what needs to be said? And my
that's a
brother, I
fact.
promise you, I know that a lot of people aren't. And when it comes to our black churches, our black pastors are guilty of always shucking and jiving and toe tapping to the presidential or governmental policies. But I'm gonna say this, man, and I'm always raw and real with it. As black people, it doesn't matter if you like that person or not. We do not have the ability to dislike anybody at this moment because the more we dislike anybody is the more powerful racism becomes. Racism only wins when we are not united.
Hey man, I want to say this. I want to say shout out to my grassroots family for one, because they the ones that's putting themselves on the front line, getting arrested, getting bothered by ICE and all of that. Shout out to
Yes, yes.
Chantel Island. Shout out to Trehen. Shout out to my folks out there, my grassroots family. Black Lives Matter grassroots is Black Lives Matter. I wanted to say that real quick, but yeah,
Yes,
man,
yes.
I agree with you. And I think that what's going on now, like we had this conversation off air. There's a lot of
Hmm.
unity. It's just that the media not gonna show that.
Right.
That's why it's important for us that have media corporations and have businesses to
Platforms.
highlight that and show that in a bigger spectrum, because they're not ever going to show the unity the way it is. You know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So it's up to us to show us, not them.
To To put it in motion. Right.
Right. It's not up to them. It's up to us. We got the power when it comes to that. You know, we control our plight, we control our stories, and we control what get out. The moment we allow them, the more they won't show the real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I forgot who said it, but somebody said it was like I think it was brother Nuri Muhammad from the Nation of Islam. He said the reason why our journey is so hard because we are fighting to get into a system that was never made for us.
For us, that's a fact.
Our biggest accomplishment to date is either between the civil rights era or the Greenwood district in Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street. And so when we can replicate Black Wall Street, then I can say that we have successfully united the way that we should. Are we united now in some aspects? Yes, definitely.
It's starting to happen. It's starting to, a lot of things like you speaking on is starting to happen all over again.
Yeah.
I think the only difference between then and now is it will be a whole lot more guarded and secure versus before. But they still got the army and all that. But it's a lot of training going on our end, but that ain't to be televised. You know what I'm saying? So
one thing I
ain't gonna say too much on this line. You know what I'm saying?
But this and I always say this because this is the 2.0 of what our ancestors did. I say that this revolution isn't going to be televised. It's going to be live streamed, man. Seriously, it ain't going to be televised, but it's going to be live streamed. And I want to say this, man. We have to be very careful to not let our Black brothers and sisters who are being killed and murdered, especially our Black women, we have to be careful that we don't let their names slip under the radar because we are
right. We say their names all the time.
We are so desensitized to the killings. We are so when we see another brother got hung, another brother got shot, we're like, oh, just another brother. No, we got to continue to say their names. And the one biggest misconception is, oh, my little platform with my 5.5 thousand followers ain't nothing. No, your platform matters. Everybody needs to use their voice, their influence, their platform, whatever it is, your circle of trust to get the message out because that's what they want us to think. They want you to think that you have no voice, you have no power. But
that's
the
biggest thing you have is your voice. And the moment you lose it,
stop that.
The moment they deter you from doing anything you want to do.
You gotta tell your story. I watched Jamal Bryant podcast with Ace Metaphor. And the one thing that he said that rings so true,
shout out to
tell your
Pastor
story.
Brian.
Yes.
I know.
Jamal Bryant podcast. You have to tell your story. Like, don't let nobody, hijack your story. Don't let them silence you. Because at the end of the day, the very people that need to hear your story are waiting for you to speak. And somebody like, you know what? Oh, I ain't know Tig knew that. Okay, bet. And so they'll be empowered to do a little more, and then they'll be able to share it, and they'll share it. And so I just always want to make sure that, a lot of people say, oh, you preach divisiveness. No, I preach realism. And the fact remains that if something happens in our Black community, I don't care if it's in Texas, I don't care if it's in the Bay Area, I don't care if it's in Miami Gardens, I don't care if it's in Brooklyn, I don't care if it's in North Carolina, I don't care if it's in Florida. If it happens to our people, I'm going to speak on it, man. Straight like that. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to be silent. I don't have to like you. I don't have to know you. If you are Black, if you are a minority, matter of fact, if you are a human being and I see the police beating you, I don't care if they white, they Black. If you are being beaten by the police and you are white, you're Mexican, I'm going to speak up on it because I do not like to see bullies. I do not like people to be taken advantage of. I do not like people to be outnumbered or be back against the wall. That is a trigger for me. So when I see that, man, I got to speak up, man. And I'm just a brother who's articulate enough to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. And I know when I say what I say, who's going to hear it and who's going to be affected by it.
Straight like that. Hey, man, so let me ask you this. What's a big mistake you made early in your leadership that changed how you operate today?
Trusting Black folk. And and let me say this, and let me put it in perspective, and I as a dual reason for that. One, the biggest mistake that we can make as black folk is do deals on a handshake. I don't care
That's
what
right.
it is. If you are doing deals, do it and put it in writing. Get it notarized. Make it legit. And again, if you're doing that and that person feels offended, they got something to hide. Because if we're doing business and you say, listen, sign this paperwork, this agreement, bet. I respect you
Yeah.
because you official. Like I respect that you really want to hold it official and you want to hold your integrity. Because when you're like, listen, let's just shake on it. No, brother. Oh no. See, because when you shake on it, what you do right there, you activate that person crazy. Because now you're gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
play with my money. You're gonna try to play with my credits. You're gonna try to play with my no, brother. And then we gotta throw them hands, man. And again, I don't like to be confrontational, but the one thing I will say is I don't like it, but when it's time to get active, man, we got to do what we got to do. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, a lot of times when you coming up in business, you have to be okay. Let me say this: when you're a public figure and you create your persona, you create your business, your organization, and it puts you in the public eye, you have to be okay with the following things. You have to be okay with being emulated and copied. You have to be okay with being talked about, and you have to be okay with people trying to challenge you, second guess you, or tear you down. You
That's right.
cannot be a public figure and be crying about everything that's said about you. You cannot be a public figure and care about what's going to be said, because guess what? The minute you said, yo, I'm launching my Tigmatic podcast, so, guarantee half of the people that knew you was like, what? Man, I ain't,
He ain't
man,
doing no podcast.
yeah.
He
It's
ain't
your
gonna
own
have
peoples.
no viewers.
Yeah, own
He
peoples.
ain't gonna
And
do
so
nothing.
here's
He
the
gonna
thing.
have people from around the hood on his joint. And people
And,
was shocked till they see me with Cornell West on his joint. You know what I'm
and
saying?
here's the let me drop this for your viewers. I don't know if they've ever heard this before, but here is real story. I don't know if people want to take notes or whatever you do. You want to screenshot it, screen record, but get this note. That crab in the barrel mentality was created during the slave time. It was created from something that I did research, and it's called the manumission laws. The manumission laws stated that once a year, a slave owner could free one of his slaves, and they can be totally free from the master, and they will give you a little bit of bread to help you along your way. But what happens when you do that? So you know what? We're gonna let Tig go this year. Everybody in your circle now is gonna be hating on you and trying to pull you down because they're the ones that want to go. They're the ones that want to get freedom. And so the crab in the barrel mentality was orchestrated. It was strategized because the Bible says the house divided against itself cannot stand. So
Sting.
if I'm
That's
so if
right.
I'm tr- if I'm trying to climb out and you pulling my legs back down, I can never ever get out.
Get
And
further.
that
That's right.
and that's where that mentality comes from. That we are programmed that we don't mean to hate. And I'm gonna say this: if you are black, and I know this is gonna be controversial, they're gonna say something about it, but I'm 10 toes down for it. If you are black, you have hate in your blood. You have it in your blood because they condition us that way. They made it so that we fought each other. Because how can
I'll say this.
we
I
can
kind of disagree with you only on one part of it.
what part is that?
The hate in your blood. The
Hmm.
only way you have hate in your blood is if you don't have God with you.
No.
We gotta
Eh,
keep it real, because when you got God with you, you shouldn't be hating nobody.
Here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
How many times? And see, we have been so desensitized to hate, and again, it's not our fault because we were conditioned this way. Because again, it's like if we make them fight themselves, then we can take over. And so what happens is even in church, you have those that can preach the heavens down. They can prophesy and tell you what you wore last night, and you was 2 states away. But what happens is, anytime you see somebody doing good, you see somebody working on a project, and you be like, how did they get that? Or how did they get that money? Or how did they pay for that? Or who gonna watch that? Or is that really working? Is that really real? We
That's
don't
a
understand.
conditioning issue.
And
That's
that
a mental conditioning issue.
and let me explain what I said by hate. I don't mean that you are purposely hating. I mean the potential to hate on a person is within you because we were conditioned that way during slavery, and they made sure they didn't even allow us to read until a certain point, so we didn't know nothing except for what they told us.
Right. So you talking about how things were systemically put in place
Right.
at a certain point in time. So
And
now
hold on.
we can't wait.
And one last thing, in order for that not to rise up, we have to be very diligent and proactive in stopping it. So when you find yourself like, that ain't gonna work, you got to nip it in the bud because at some point in time, when you're under duress and you ain't got the money in the bank and you ain't got the connections and people ain't picking up the phone, they ain't responding to text, all these things are working against you and your back is against the wall, that's when you got to be really diligent to watch your mindset because when you're running out of options, that's when hate will become so easy because like you ain't got nothing, ain't nothing working right. It becomes easy to hate when you get in a position when your back is against the wall. So just for
Right.
clarification, when your back is against the wall and you hungry, angry, lonely, tired, when you get to that fourth stage point, you got to watch your mind because you will get tricked into thinking like, you know what? If I'm successful, if Tig is successful, that means I can't be successful. No, we both can eat. But
So one of the viewers said we may have been intentionally manipulated,
mhm.
but isn't who we truly are. It isn't
Right,
truly who we truly are. And I agree with that 1000%. But I want to say
100%.
this, and this is what I want to say. There comes a time where we have to, understand that the cycles have to be broken with us making the
Right.
choice to break them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts. The moment we say to ourselves, we're ready to come together, break these cycles, and build for the generations that's coming next, because this comes in
Right.
4 generations. So the work that's being put in now is going to last for the next 4 generations. So we have to
Yep.
continue to build so that way those next 4 generations can build way more than what we built. So
Right.
that's the goal, and that should be the mindset. And the moment everyone gets on board with that, we'll be unstoppable, man.
Right.
We'll be unstoppable. So here's my
Definitely.
next question to you.
Mm-hmm.
As a high-level executive, how has leadership impacted your mental health? That's a good question. I wanted you
When
to really
when you talk about leadership, we have to be very clear, and this is why context is very important. And earlier, I said that we have to be careful when you're a public figure and you deal with the public. You have to be very careful of what you put out and what you
right.
say because clickbait is real. People will edit what you say and
So
do all
when I
type of
say
things.
leadership, I'm talking about based on your positions.
No, no,
Those are
I know.
leadership positions.
No. But I wanted to give some context so people understand why I'm going to answer the way I'm going to answer. And so
Okay.
when we think about leadership, a lot of people look at it in the wrong context. Leadership is really not about um capability. Leadership is more about responsibility. And here's what when you make leadership about capability, it will drain you because now you don't know how to facilitate that leadership. You don't know how to delegate. You don't know how to bring the most out of your people. You don't know how to bring the best out of the people that you lead. And when you begin to make leadership about responsibility, then Jack Welch, who was the former president and chairman of GE, chairman and CEO of GE. He said, when you supervise or lead somebody, especially in an organization, you need to be able to know how to do the basic functions of everybody you supervise. And so, what that means is if you are a leader about capability, then you will always falter because you don't know how to do everything the people do that you lead. You know how to do the basics. When you make leadership about responsibility, then it becomes more frugal, and you now say, okay, you know what? I got to get this person to do this because this person is strong in this. I'm going to get this person. And you know how to activate your people. You know how to bring their strengths up. You know how to, kind of balance their weaknesses. And so what I've learned is that you have to be able to be everything to everybody. And in one organization, you can have somebody that's petty. You can have somebody that's always late. You can have somebody that's always mean. You can have somebody that's boisterous. You can have somebody
Thanks.
that's timid. You have to be able to be everything to all of them. I have to be able to put all y'all in the same room and talk to y'all all at the same time and be able to make sure that all of y'all get it. You have a college degree, you have a master's, you have associates, you have an eighth grade, you have a 12th grade. And leadership great leaders will always, always, always go the extra mile, even if they don't get the credit. When you look at leadership like that, it shows you that a lot of times real leaders don't want the credit. One of the real standards that I live by on the workplace when I'm doing, in any leadership role is that when things are going well and things are going great, you give the praise to your team. When everything is going bad, you take the credit for that. When you keep that motto, those who you lead will respect you and they will always have your back. They may not like you personally, but they will respect your grind and your hustle. That's a guaranteed
That's right.
fact.
That's right. And also another part of that is caring for them because you're responsible for them in a way.
Right,
And coming into this leadership position that I have, I understand that now because it's beyond the training, right? You have
right.
to think about people in a way where it's
Selfless,
beyond what you
selfless.
were trained to do. It
Hmm.
has to come from here,
Empathy. Empathy is the big
right?
word.
And
Empathy
and
is you
that's
put themselves
something.
in their shoes.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of us as people, period, have a hard time doing, understanding someone else's story, someone else's plight, what they've been
Right,
through, how they got out of it, why they are the way they are today. And if we spent a little bit more time having understanding for people, that would make the glue connect so strong when it comes to unity.
right,
That's
right,
something that I aim to achieve for our people. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I understand that 1000%, man. Thanks for that answer. That was a dope answer, man.
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you this. How do you recognize when your mental health is slipping? You know this is a mental health
So,
social. We're gonna have some
right.
some mental health, but we
Oh
still
no.
gonna have
Oh,
them business
definitely.
questions too.
Oh no. I love addressing mental health. And I didn't really get a full grasp into mental health until COVID. Um, One of the things that mental health is one of them topics that everybody needs to talk about, but everybody wants to avoid. Um, I knew that how do I know my mental health is off is because I was the person I had to work on my anger. And so the way that I handled it, the way that I was told to handle it through counseling at a younger age, and I had to find what works best for me. What works best for me is when I feel like I'm getting aggravated or if I'm feeling some type of way, I become an introvert. I stay to myself, I shut
Yeah,
down because for me it's like it's either that or I explode. And if I explode, it's not
that
gonna
can't
be
be good
good.
for anybody.
It's either I'm going to jail or you going to the hospital or you going to jail and I'm going to the hospital. It's going to be one or the other.
I
We
feel
both
you,
not walking
bro.
away from this. And
Yeah,
so
I feel you.
I had to learn. And here's a real jewel that I want a lot of the brothers to know when it comes to leadership. And I learned this after my first marriage went down. And even though it wasn't because of my wrongdoing initially, and my ex-wife, she cheated on me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the one thing that I had to come into grips with when you talk about leadership and accountability and maturity, even if you're not the one, men, fellas, grown men, brothers, bros, even if you're not the person that did the cheating, because you are the leader, you're still responsible to
It
put
still
your
reflects
relationship.
on you.
You're still
Absolutely.
responsible to put your house back in order. And
That's
so a
right.
lot of brothers, a lot of black men, we get lost at that point. Like, hold on, she cheated on me. Why I gotta no, you're the leader. You still have to get your house back in order. And so my thing was at that point, I wasn't mature enough to say, you know what? Even though she cheated on me, let me hold my composure and put things back in order as the king that I say that I am. But what I've come to find out in leadership, brother, is that as black men, we are not stronger than the women emotionally, and we are not better suited for leadership emotionally. Mentally,
Yeah.
yes. Emotionally, women are better leaders than we are because a woman can handle you having another baby on her, giving her STD, you playing in her face, all of that, and she can be strong, go to work the next day. Let that happen to a brother. We're gonna be sick, hyperventilating, our palms sweaty, we ain't gonna be able to breathe. We're gonna want to kill everybody on the block because we are not emotionally strong the way women are. Women are
Yeah.
better leaders on
They're
the emotional
resilient, man.
forefront.
They're resilient,
And as
man.
men, our ego, and ego is the killer of great leadership. Ego
Ease
will
God
kill
out.
great leadership.
That's part of it. When they easing God out. EGO. I say
Yeah,
this all the time. It's like I say this a lot on the show, but
yeah.
that's a big part of it. The moment
Ego,
you don't
man.
talk to the man upstairs,
Listen,
you can't have that accountability for yourself because you want to shun what he's trying to tell you. That conscious, everybody say is you. No, that's him. That
and
conscious talking
here's
to
the
you, and you don't want to hear it.
here's the one thing that a lot of us brothers got to start doing. When you feel comfortable being the smartest person in the room, you're not a good leader.
You're not a good leader. That's a fact.
If you're the smartest person in the room, then you're not leading. You're showboating. What what
Yeah,
what what real strong, mature men like to do? They like to go to the OGs and learn. And so
that's a
what
fact.
happens is one of I'm not gonna say the only, but one of the top 5 reasons this generation is the way that it is, as far as
Ain't no
young black boys.
OGs.
The OGs stop being OGs. The OGs are now trying to be the YNs and trying to wear the tight jeans. Like you got Jim Jones, 55, still. No, brother, be the OG and stop fighting with these young boys because they not playing, you know?
Yeah,
And what happens is I like to go sit from at the feet of the OGs and learn and absorb and get the jewels because the one thing I tell these young people, I'm about to be 45 this year. I don't care how much knowledge you have, experience is always the best teacher.
that's a fact.
Experience
Hey,
will
man, listen.
always beat out knowledge.
We at the 1 hour mark, so we're going to take a break. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back and get into this good conversation, man. Folks, I'm sitting here with Nathaniel Moore, the media guru.
Yes,
And
sir.
listen, we here. Hollywood TV, Hollywood Radio, Dollar Radio, Going In Radio, 105.7 The Phase, sponsored by DemoniBrand.com and NorthShadeTheMoreBoutique.com. Hey, listen, I need some fluids, so I'm going to get to it. Sit back, enjoy the tunes, and we'll be right back.
V-Ray's going too hard, though. Don't cry, dry your eyes, take away hunger. When faith is low and trust is hard, take away I prayed and I prayed and I praise some more. It's like the desires of my heart won't on your mind no more. Drowned in the water, couldn't find you, no car, see a boat. Know why you ignoring me, yeah. Seen people blessed with my request, like now you gotta be teasing. Telling myself it's in due season, like I'm really believing. My blessing came once I realized delayed for a reason. You not hear me, yeah. Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go.
Never plan ahead, live up in the moment. Put my trust in God, cause he never leave me lonely. I was trusting in my homies till he showed me they won't for me. I just wait on God, cause he'll remove them. Man, I'm many talents, I just try my best to use them. Gotta feel my purpose, if I don't, my life was useless. This a different type of music, but who else was built to do this? I just wait on God and let him use me. When faith get low and trust get hard, don't cry, wait on God, on God, on God.
Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go.
Just wait on God.
Made up my mind that I can't be outside his will. That I'ma do nothing but trust him despite how I feel. When your emotions don't change your confession, it's real. You gotta keep your faith strong. That's the simplest I know. Guard what you look at and what you let between your ears. God good, his showers of comfort outweigh all your stress. It's true, I had to share this good news to all my peers. Your timing, not his timing, and the spirit I heard him say. If he didn't do it, no, it's not because it couldn't be done. You just weren't mature enough to handle it. And he ain't just gonna bless anyone. Wait on God. Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go.
Foolish made this fool. Know that.
I think they mad and I'm on them niggas know I'm the shit. I'm systematic, I'm at it, I keep that ratchet to spit. I'm putting pressure all on them, trying to advance to the chip. Get in the way of my dreams, Bodie, I let off the stick. It ain't no stopping me. They hating on my moves, which mean they watching me. Trying to do just what I do, but moving sloppily. I'ma be on top and I predict it like a prophecy. I live that high life forever. They mad, I'm on and I know they hate, but I remember nights that I barely ate. Sleeping in the basement on the waterbed with no box springs, just doors on crates. Was a skinny nigga with an attitude, living life with no gratitude. Was robbing niggas for my next meal, cause I was dead broke and I ain't had food. Had a nigga like fuck school, went to juvie where a nigga learned to move. Ski tossed me that crack and told me to trap. I bought me my first tool, fucked the money up, my mom paid it back. My pockets back on flat cause I ain't know the rules. And now a nigga older and I know the rules. I'm getting money with a lean and a shoulder grooves. And when they counted me out, them real niggas gon' count me in. Man, they threw me in the water thinking I would drown, but with the sharks I swim. Man, I'm back on my feet and I'm back to the street. Niggas wish they had a spark like him. I think they mad and I'm on, these niggas know I'ma win. I think they mad and I'm on, them niggas know I'm the shit. I'm systematic, I'm at it, I keep that ratchet to spit. I'm putting pressure all on them, trying to advance to the chip. Get in the way of my dreams, Bodie, I let off the stick. It ain't no stopping me. They hating on my moves, which mean they watching me. Tryna do just what I do, but moving sloppily. I'ma be on top and I predict it like a prophecy. I live that high life forever. I was sitting back and now it's my time. Now they sit and watch how I shine. Gotta move fast and got no time for the slow grind. This flow here be a gold mine. Showing out when it's go time. There first like the front line. Philly nigga 10 toes down for the money on. Y'all want mine. Always putting that groundwork. Lied out like a sound burst. Started off with a pound first. Niggas moving that brown dirt. Beef I eat, leave your man's murk. Beat a nigga till my hands hurt. Started off with a plan, nigga. Just to see if that plan work. And now it working, y'all niggas mad. I can see the look on y'all faces. Hating on me, got you moving fast, so I guess it's time I get flagrant. If I'm on go and I'm getting low, homie, you don't wanna see the gay spit. Not bad for an OG that really started from the base. Mad and I'm on, them niggas know I'm the shit. I'm Mr. I'm at it, I keep that ratchet to spit. I'm putting pressure all on them, trying to advance to the chip. Get in the way of my dreams, Bodie, I let off the stick. It ain't no stopping me. They hating on my moves, which mean they watching me. Tryna do just what I do, but moving sloppily. I'ma be on top and I predict it like a prophecy. I live that high life forever, I'm lit. Forever I'm lit. Forever I'm lit. I live that high life forever, I'm lit. Forever I'm lit. Forever I'm lit. I live that high life forever, I'm lit. All right, y'all. We back. We here. We moving and booming.
Yes, sir.
That was Big Leak, Wait on God, and your boy Tigmatic, Forever I'm Lit.
Listen, man, I gotta talk to you offline about that song, man. Yeah, man, you got
Hold on one
some.
second. Hold on one second. My sound kind of went out for a sec. There we go. Now, what you say, brother?
Man, I gotta talk to you about some music stuff offline, man, because that thing right there, man, that was yeah, man. That was that how they say that was that jaw right there, man.
Yeah.
That's that jaw right there.
Yeah. I go
Nah,
in
that
a
was
little
official.
bit, you know what
That
I'm
was
saying?
official, brother. That was official.
I'm an activist, but I still keep my gritty side to me, you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, man. Listen, folks, for those that wasn't watching, we're at the second half. I have Nathaniel Moore, the media
Yes,
guru. We
yes,
here, we
yes.
moving and booming. 105.7 The Phase, Hollywood TV, Dollar Radio, Going In Radio, TheMoneyBrand.com, and North Shade the More Boutique. Hey, listen, he went in through the New York Yankees on them. You know what I'm
Had to
saying? He
do
got
it,
me
you
about
hear
to
me?
go get them Eagles.
Oh
But
man.
nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, shout out to New York, man. We got Brooklyn in the house today, y'all. We got Brooklyn in the
Definitely.
house today.
Bad
All
style.
right. All right, man. So let's talk about growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So in Brooklyn, was it mom and dad? Was it single parent household? Like, break it down a bit.
So I was born. Where I was born. I think we was living in Marcy at the time, and then moved to Bushwick, or vice versa.
Marcy,
But
home of
um,
hold.
yeah. But I was raised in a house. I was born. My mom's. I think she was living with her boyfriend at the time, or whatever, and was doing her own little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I ended up living with my grandmother because of abuse that I suffered at the hands of my mother's boyfriend. Um, and this I think this is actually the first episode that I actually talked about some things. Well, the first time I talked about this was on my podcast, but so I was molested by my mother's boyfriend when I was like 18 months old. You know, he
Sorry to
did
hear
some
that,
stuff to
man.
me. Yeah, man. Boy burnt me. You know, he violated. He did some stuff that, trust me, men would definitely not want to talk about. But he did some stuff to me, man. And I always pray, man, like, God, don't ever let me see that dude, man. Seriously, because I already know if I ever see him, man, it might not be good. But so I grew up with my grandmother because of that, and she was married for a little bit, but then mostly it was just me and my grandmother, and then that time was me and my mom's. So I grew up mainly with two black strong women. Grew up in the hood, in the ghetto, in the slums. Um, and we were poor. We weren't like Somalia poor, but we were poor. We was the government cheese, the food stamp book back in the day.
Yeah.
We was up in Payless. We was the Buster Brown, the Stride Right, the
Hey,
British
listen, I
Knights.
know that. I
You
know
know,
that all too
um,
well.
I grew up in the projects and then in the housing authority. So I think a lot of the things that are great about me were birthed out of the dysfunction that I grew up in. My leadership capabilities, my ability to be a little gritty, my ability to lead, all of those things, came from my environment, which is the hood, man. So I'm never gonna turn my back or act like, I'm, not proud to be where I'm from, because I am, you know. I'm never gonna not go back to the hood and show love to my peoples. I don't care if I had $1 billion, still gonna tap back in. But I don't want to live there, but I never can forget where I came from, because that's what made me, man. Um, and so I, because of how I was brought up, I became very good at understanding certain dynamics when it came to women, because I was raised by women. I saw when they, when at that time of the month, I knew when to leave them alone. I knew what different things meant. You
Yeah,
know,
give
it
them
it
that
it,
space on that
it,
time of the month. Don't be
it
trying to be all
there,
mushy because they ain't feeling mushy.
there.
Yeah,
It, it it
man.
it provided me with a lot of different abilities, being brought up in a strict, religious home. We went to church. I was brought up in the church. My grandmother, my all my parents were in ministry in some sort of way, in music. So church, the hood. It's normal every in the 80s. That's what. But I ain't know nobody back then who lived with their mom and their dad together at the same time. Everybody was, oh, my dad, go see my dad on the weekends, or go see my mom on the weekends. So most of my friends that I grew up with knew their pops and their moms, but they didn't live with both of them. So
Yeah.
at that time, it was the norm to go. Like, everybody you knew was like, oh, summer coming around, we get out of school in June. All right, I'm gonna stay with my pops for the summer. So going to stay with my grandmoms, or going to stay with my mom. So, that's what it is. My story is the same story about anybody else that, grew up in that era. We all, raised by moms for the most part.
Oh man, that's cool. It was the same here. My dad
Yeah.
was abusive. You know what I'm saying? My mom left. Left when I was about 5, maybe younger than that, 5 or 4. And we moved down.
Wow.
We was in the projects. We was in Philly in the projects in South Philly. I'm from South Philly, but we
Okay.
was in South Philly projects, Tasker projects. Then we moved out of the projects and moved to a house, but we stayed in South Philly. So yeah, man. But I was raised by my grandmother for a while as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, we got a little bit in common there. My grandmother was an educator, so I was in the school, but I still was acting out in the school. So, I was a
Yeah.
little trouble kid, you know what I'm saying? I did juvie and all that. I
Yeah.
never did
I
no
lo-
time as an adult, but I spent a lot of time in juvie because I was doing criminal stuff as a young one.
yeah.
So, you
As
know what I'm
a,
saying?
I think
Yeah,
everybody in our age bracket grew up with their grandparents. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So let me ask you, how do you handle pressure when people are depending on you and depending on your decisions?
Um, One of the things that I always, whether it be in a relationship, your family, or leading at the company, whatever, at a job, a project, I always try to make the best decision, um, that includes three parts. One, is this decision going to be morally sound? Is it going to be ethically sound? And is it, what's the statistics? If I do this, is it more likely that somebody would be mad or hurt by what I did, or they'd be happy and excited? So I got to look
Yeah.
at it from them three vantage points. And when I do, I make the decision that I can be comfortable and live with, and be able to explain it to my friends, my family, or like, listen, I made this decision because of X, Y, and Z. And I think that, a lot of times we make decisions as men, and we do it off ego and not off intellect. But I always try to make this, and I'm a person, I'm good under pressure. I work good under pressure. I work good with timelines and deadlines. So I'm a person that I can come through in a crunch time. I'm like the black, I got that Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
Um, so that's how, when it comes to leadership, man, I'm that type of person that if you know that I'm handling something in that leadership capacity, you already know I got it done. I get busy when it comes time to, put on for my team or whatever. Yeah.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
round of applause for that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
All right, that's fire. So, what does execution mean to you at the highest level?
Execution at the highest level
Mm-hmm.
is completing your task on time without cutting corners.
Mm. Break that down. Break that
Completing.
down. Now I know what
So
you mean, but we gotta get this for the viewers. You know how I go. So break
okay,
that
so
down.
now I don't like always getting spiritual, but because I need to, it'll make sense this way if I say it in a spiritual term. Um, so a lot of times we look at success the wrong way. We look at success based on cars and jewelry and money
Mm-hmm.
and material possessions. But when you look at success, success is not about what you can see. Success is about what you can fulfill. So, for
Mm.
example, a preacher once said that if you would look at the ministry of Jesus in the Bible, and you saw what he had to endure and had to go to the cross and what he had to bear, you would have think that he wasn't successful, because he died and he was beaten, he was whipped, and he was mocked, and he was bruised. But when you dig further into the scriptures and you get the proper context, the Bible lets you know that he fulfilled his mission. Even Jesus had a moment of weakness when he knew that he had to die for our sins. He cried. He said, "Father, what is this that you have me doing? Because what I'm looking at, this doesn't look like success. It doesn't look like, I'm successful in my mission. But because it's your will, I will do it." And a lot of times, we look at success, like I said, with material things. But when you look at success, this is the question that you have to ask yourself: what is this all for? When you ask yourself, what is this all for? And you get that answer, it should complete that mission. What is it all for? It should complete that mission in a timely manner and without cutting any corners. So when you say, am I successful? Ask yourself this question: have I accomplished what I set out to do in a timely manner without cutting corners? Then you're
Yeah,
successful.
I get it. I get the analogy.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my next question.
Hmm.
What was the defining moment that made you no, I asked you this already. I'm sorry. I'm reading off the wrong part of my questions. I'm tripping. What's one leadership trait most people think they have, but really don't?
I would say one leadership trait that people think they have that they don't, I would say integrity. Yep. Integrity.
You said integrity.
Yep.
Why?
Because one of the things that I found out is that when the camera is rolling, everybody gonna do what's right. But what happens when the camera stop rolling? When nobody can see you? If you see that woman's pocketbook and you see $400 or $500 sticking out, and you know nobody can see you, and you know, are you going to take it or are you going to leave it? And so when you become a leader, you almost have to. Okay, here's the thing. I learned this. This is the most important part of leadership that we miss. A lot of the times, as a leader and a public figure, you have to be mindful of the things that you do, not because it's wrong, it's a sin, or it's illegal, but those that follow you don't have the same discipline as you. So
Yeah.
if I
Or the
so if
same
I'm
mindset.
so if I'm outside in the hood and I'm in Germantown, I'm on, I'm outside, I'm doing what I'm doing, and some people might say, oh, he outside, he doing his numbers, he doing what he doing, and so they may think I can go do that too, but they may not have the discipline. Like, I can go to the hood, dap up all my peoples, then break out. They're gonna stay there, get caught up in the mix. Police gonna run up on you, run your pocket. So they don't have the same discipline. So a lot of times I don't do stuff because the people that follow me need to understand that you're not disciplined enough for this. So I have to be the moral compass for you. So I can't do this, not because it's wrong, but because when you do it, you don't have the experience. Say, okay, I can do this, then stop. You're going to go too far and you're going to hit a pothole. And then what happens is, initially, it was my fault because I wasn't disciplined enough to say, you know what, my followers and those that look up to me, they might not have the same discipline that I have. So that is probably the hardest part of leadership, is knowing when to stop and when to go. And so the difference is knowledge versus wisdom. Knowledge tells you what to say. Wisdom tells you when to say it or when to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that 1000%, brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. I'm really feeling this energy, man. This is great energy here today. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're here today.
I came
you
to
in the
turn
pot.
it up with you, brother.
And we putting that gumbo in there and we brewing it up. You know what I'm saying? 105.7 The Phase, Hollywood TV, Going In Radio, Dollar Radio. We out here sitting here with the media guru. You dig?
Yes, sir. We here.
One gone,
Philly,
one time
Brooklyn,
for that. You know what I mean?
Philly, Brooklyn, we doing it.
Hey, man, I want to say this too. You're a real New Yorker, bull, and literally said Germantown. You get around in Philly. I see that.
Listen, boy, I be outside. Listen.
You be outside. I see that.
Shout out to all the people in Philly, man. Shout out to the North Side, South Philly, West Side of Philly, Germantown. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all those in Upper Darby, Lower Darby, man. Everybody, listen, King of Prussia, everybody in the mall right now, man. Go ahead and get you something, man. Listen, go to that Chanel, man. They high in there, man. But Chanel gets you right, man. And King of Prussia, man. I'm telling you, you got to go in there with your other wallet, and King of Prussia, man. You got to go with your big boy wallet.
He get around. He definitely get around. He know about that Philly life.
Yeah, man. Listen. And I'm gonna put this. I know I can.
We just say KOP though. Yeah, what I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, I know I'm gonna get some backlash for this from my Philly people. But listen, if you ain't from Philly and you're gonna go to Philly, instead of going to Geno's or Max, go ahead with the D'Alessandro's, man, and go ahead and get you some of that good old cheesesteak, man, and D'Alessandro's, man. Yeah, go ahead, man.
They are right, but you might want to do Max's.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, D'Alessandro's.
You might want they good too, but for real, the best cheesesteaks ain't gonna be from none of the big spots. You gotta go to the Poppy store down here. You know what I'm saying? The Poppy store cheesesteaks is where it's really at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They gonna get you right. You know what I mean? Throw some mushrooms on that thing, all that. Yeah, they gonna get you right. You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact,
but yeah.
you know what we need to do? We need to do just something for some good promotional content, man. We need to do a Philly NYC vlog, man, where we go and get
listen, we could do an episode where I co-host your joint and you co-host my joint.
But no, listen,
we do that.
I want to do something in person Where we in your hood, we go get the Philly cheesesteak, man, and then we go to Brooklyn, New York, and we go get the chopped cheese, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we can see the hood
Yeah,
and really, like we gotta do something like that, man. It's something, man. It's gonna be
yeah.
hot
I'm
outside, man.
down. I'm
It's
down.
gonna be hot,
You
man. Get
know,
the footage, man, and just and edit it, put it together, and put that content out, man, on both our pages, man.
hey man, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, definitely, man.
For sure.
I'm gonna
All
be in
right.
Philly this summer.
So, how do you turn chaos into structure? What's your process?
Um, Now it's funny that you asked me that because I always tell people this, and I am probably the best manager of chaos you will ever meet. Um, I am what I call self-proclaimed the male version of Olivia Pope. I think I told you this. Um, I don't know what it is, but the environment, like I said, I grew up in a house with some strong black women who didn't need no man. And in this day and time, that's it's not a good look, you know. Now again, I love my grandmother, my mother, rest in peace. But back then, the women that they were back then, they would not be accepted in this generation because strong women who didn't need no man, who told men, shut up, I'll knock you out. What's really good? Women that did that will not be accepted in this generation. So they were definitely in a different era. But chaos, man, for me is like a regular day, man. Like when I look at stuff like that, I'm always thinking 5 or 6 moves ahead. So I'll never really be behind. I'll always have, a executed plan that's strategically mapped out because I'm always thinking ahead. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about an execution of something that I have to do. So me thinking on my feet, quick with a quick response, whether it be for something for media, whether it be something for personal, I'm always good with that. That's one of my strongest suits as a human is strategizing, and part of that is crisis management. And you just have to know, like it's just a gift. Like some people can play basketball and they're good at it. Some people
Mm-hmm.
rap. Some people sew. Some people I'm good at managing chaos. I'm good at crisis management. I'm good at, finding solutions. And I'm the type of person that I have to find solutions when I see problems. I don't give up and say, you know what, okay, I can't find it. Oh well. No. I'm gonna grind until I find that answer, that solution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, that's something that just comes normal because of the atmosphere I grew up in. And again, I know that corporal punishment isn't accepted nowadays, and CPS and BC, and Bureau of Child Welfare and all these different organizations and DIFUS and all of that, they exist, for a reason. But I think that, what is needed, man, is CPS has destroyed our culture. I'm gonna keep it a stack. And yes, there are
Mm.
some people that need that governance of CPS because they do abuse their kids. But for the most part, a lot of kids hold their parents at bay with the threat, like, I'm gonna call CPS on you, and it prohibited parents from doing their job, which is
It
why you see
prohibits the real
YNs.
connection too with the
Right,
child and the
right.
parent
You
because
take the
they
power,
linger in the money over the relationship.
right, and you take the
They
power from
dangle
the
that
parent,
over,
right.
and
hmm
then they build a narrative to make the dad look like the bad guy. And
Listen,
there's a
that's
lot of
all
that
by
going on.
design.
It's
That's all by design, brother. Our country designed it to be that way. That's all by design.
yeah,
Sad to say,
man.
but that's
Yeah.
how our country was designed.
All right. So, hmm. How do you separate your identity from your work?
To be honest, my work has created who I am. Um, so normally, before I became this media guru, I did wild stuff in public. I was smoking out in public. I was running the streets and doing what I wanted to do, throwing eggs at the bus drivers and slashing tires and breaking into homes. And because I became this person, this media guru, this crisis management person, it has helped me understand media and why it's important to always watch what you do when you're in public, and still have integrity when you're in private. So what I do and my branding has helped shape who I am, and it's just a part of who what I like to do for fun. I like to read. I like to look at documentaries. I like to look at how things are made. I like how structures are put in place, how systems are made. That type of stuff intrigues me. So I'll sit and watch YouTube and watch how airplanes are built. While people are watching, Love and Hip Hop, I'm watching how they build Lamborghinis in a factory. Because I like structures, I like discipline, I like rules, I like order. I like to be able to fundamentally put that lateral management training. I like to put things in perspective in place, and I like things to run smooth. So that for me is like second nature, man. I can think of that in my sleep.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's definitely fire, man. It's good to know that you keep your head on a swivel. You know what I mean?
Listen, all the time, brother. You got to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question that's off my questionnaire.
Okay.
Tell me something about television that people might not know, but they perceive it to be glamorous, and it's actually not.
Prison. One of the things that we have to stop doing as a people, there's a lot of young brothers who want to be tough guys in the street. There's a lot of young brothers who want to be thugged out in the street. There are a lot of young brothers who want to pretend like they're about their life. They want to, what's popping blood, what's cracking, cuz. Like, that's not a lifestyle you want to glorify, because at the end of the day, the people that would have thugged out most people on the street, when you get in prison, they soft, they getting extorted, they getting gang raped, they turn chump. They do everything that you would have thought that they did, because in the street, it's easy to tell this person, yo, go shoot him, go stab him. But you yourself ain't putting in no work. You don't know what it's really like. And I've seen dudes, and again, I'm not gonna blow their spot up. I'm not gonna say nothing, because I do the street code. I know the street code. So yeah, we was up top. I seen you getting extorted. I seen dudes smacking you up. I seen dudes pressing you and telling you ain't gonna carry that red flag no more. Drop your flag or get stabbed up. I've seen where dudes had to got that. Listen, I've been in situations, man, where dudes run down upon you with that thing, and listen, you got to shake out. Ain't no guns, ain't your boys. It's you dolo, bro. Run up on you with that shank. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You ain't in South Philly no more. You ain't in Bed-Stuy. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that we glamorize and glorify. Oh yeah, I did. No, prison makes you a person that society won't like. I promise you. To survive in prison, and here are the three rules that I learned immediately. I knew this before I went to prison, because all my family was in prison. One, you never allow nobody to invite you to the Frank stand under no circumstances. Once they tell, listen, bro. Once they say SMD, you gotta shake out, bro. In prison, if they tell you, yo, you know what? Matter of fact, SMD, you gotta shake. It's non-negotiable. That's one. Two, you never let nobody put their hands on you. Keep your hands off of me. And number
Shake,
three,
mean fight for the old heads that don't know.
yeah,
You know what I
you gotta
mean?
shake. And you can't let
That's
nobody
New
put their
York lingo.
yeah, you gotta
That's what
shake.
shake mean. You know what I mean? So I had to bring
And
that out there for those that
yeah,
don't know.
so you're gonna have to. If they invite you to the Frank stand, you got to shake out. Two, don't let nobody put their hands on you. Keep your head on a swivel. And three, you never allow nobody to take nothing from you. And if they do, you gotta shake. That's it. And so what happens is, listen, 9 times out of 10, I was born in Brooklyn. So the culture presents, when you're born in Brooklyn, you're born in that era, when you're born in the 80s, in any era, whether it's Jersey, Philly, New York, Connecticut, Boston, whatever, when you're from the hood and you're born in the 80s, you grow up with this grit. Like, listen, what's really good, man? Like, listen, ain't
That's a
nothing to talk
fact.
about. Like, there was this saying when I was growing up, like, my mouth ain't bloody and my back ain't dirty. So listen, if you ain't trying to shake, man, get up out of here, man. And so
Yeah.
I've learned over the course of time, that I can't resolve issues like that. And so that is why I have to always take the high road, because at the end of the day, trouble is easy to get into, man, but it's hard to get out of, you know. And once you get up there in them state greens and you up in the mountains and you bidding, you know, I was blessed to have people sending me them pink slips, man, sending me money, sending me packages, coming to visit me. I was getting mail, man. They was calling me. I was going down to the dance floor. I was doing, you know, taking the clicks, man. I was doing everything else, you know, that I was dancing the right way, but I had the support. There are a lot of people
Yeah.
that go to prison and they don't have that support, man. They don't have nobody to help them. So guess what? There are wolves in prison, man. If you doing your numbers and you ain't really about that and dudes know you ain't gonna fight, you gonna get extorted. And then you better hope the news don't get home that you wearing Kool-Aid on your lips in prison. Because then once you come home, you out, man. You can't come back to the hood and show your face, man. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. It's good to give these youngins that advice that think jail. They see it on TV and they think it's a walk in the park,
Nah,
but it's a
it's
whole
not.
different ball game. So
You
thanks
playing
for
with
giving
grown
them
men.
some real in-depth detail on what it's like in that job. All
Listen,
right,
you
so
playing with grown men.
yeah. So you bridge business with social responsibility.
Yes,
Why
sir.
is that important to you?
Because we have to. I never really, in the beginning, understood Malcolm X's teaching, because when I first learned his teachings, his beginning teachings, it always sounded like, you know, forget the white man, you know. But when he went to Mecca and did his pilgrimage, he came back with a new understanding. Said, listen, I'm not against the white man. I just want us to have something for our own. We need to own some boats, some planes, some factories, some warehouses, some television stations. We don't own nothing, you know. And
Yeah,
it's like, you know, when if you work with, you know, older white gentlemen, these guys are worried about owning land and property and stuff like that. We're worried about owning chains. We you'll see us living in the projects, driving a Mercedes Benz. Like, come on, like we got our priorities backwards. So we have to own something, because that's what gives us leverage. If you don't own nothing, you can't control the narrative of how it's being shaped. That's why we need to come up with this news network. We need to come up with another version of BET, so they cannot shut our voice down. Because again, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna stop talking, man. We have to get our voice out there. And if you have a platform, if you have a voice, you are responsible for how, if you are a minority, you are equally responsible and obligated to help the cause. And when we have that mentality, oh, it don't affect me, I'm only gonna worry about my circle. No,
hmm
that is
that's
that
the
is
me
cancerous.
syndrome. That's
That
what I
is
call it.
cancerous to our culture. That is cancerous to our culture. CTC, cancerous to our culture, because we, again, Martin Luther King was in Memphis when he died because he was helping the union in Memphis. He didn't have to. He could have stayed in Atlanta and stayed safe for another day. But he was in Memphis helping other people out, helping the union out, because it was bigger than Atlanta. It was bigger than Martin Luther King. It was bigger than this church, Ebenezer Baptist Church. It was bigger than that. And that is the one thing that's missing from this generation than the civil rights. We are not proactive in this thing. We only come together after somebody's been killed. We only come together after there's been a, like, yeah, we organize and strategize after Tamir Rice, after Sandra Bland, after Breonna Taylor, after Eric Garner, after Mike Brown, after George Floyd, after Sandra Reed, after
Well, I wouldn't say after. A lot of that was going on while it was a lot of organizing going on while these things were happening to these people. Once again,
but they
that
was
goes
already
back to what I
happening
was
because
saying.
something else. It was
That
already
goes
happening.
back to what I was saying as far as they're not showing that. We have to be in control of what they see. So people think that it's only after. And that's not the case. It's during and while it's happening. You
But
know?
yeah, that's only because we were already RIPing something from last month. And so while we're in the middle of RIPing for Breonna Taylor, then something else happens. While everybody was watching Robert Brooks on CNN be handcuffed and beat in the prison here in New York. It was seen worldwide. Right after that, the police shot a black woman in the face because she said, "You know what? The saying the Lord rebuke you." He said, "What you say?" She said, and he shot her right in the face.
Yeah,
So we
and
can't
that
get
was
over that.
crazy. That was crazy.
We still mourning Robert Brooks, and now we got a double mourn with Sandra Reed. Like, come on. So yes, we are organizing, but we are never organizing from a fresh standpoint. We're already organizing because we're already organizing.
Here's
from
the thing:
previous.
the organizing has never stopped since the '60s. Once again, the media just ain't going to show that.
Right.
And that's why I keep saying we got to control the plight. They hiding that from us because they don't want us to know that there's some unity there.
Right.
The moment they find out there's unity there, then that whole narrative changes.
Right.
The fighting never stopped since Martin Luther King died. If we being completely honest, the fight never stopped. NAACP been there, other coalitions, the the NFF, AP, the Not Effing Around Coalition, Black Panthers, they all been around still. It's just that they not getting highlighted because they don't want people to know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Main media is not going to portray that because then they're showing the other side of us.
Right.
So the moment we take a grip of what we don't see and put it out there for the masses to see, that's when the mindset can change.
Right.
That's when we can control our stories. And it ain't just when something happened to, somebody getting murdered. Nah, you hearing about the excellence. And then you seeing what these black people are doing, what these cops are doing to unarmed black men and all the injustices of everything that's going around, So it takes people like you, it takes people like me to build a coalition of media to where they look at it like, oh man, they so big with this. If something happened, this media company is going to be right on it, just like how CNN is. CNN, like you just mentioned, CNN actually plays a part in helping us, but we need our own CNN.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I agree with you there, man. 1,000%, man. 1,000%. It just takes another angle, because
we got to strategize better.
It's stuff happening, and all of that stuff is actually things are being done about it. That's why there's a lot of policies that people don't know about that these same people help get in place, but they're not going to highlight, oh, Black Lives Matter founder or any of these people help get a law in place and all that. They're not going to tell you that. You're going to have to go way back in the internet to find that. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to hide this information. And you know what they say, you want to hide information, put it in the book.
Yep.
And a lot of us don't want to read.
That's right.
Even if it's in a magazine. So that's why we need public speakers and public figures to come out here and talk about it. So for those that don't like to read, they can hear about it and then make them say, oh, well, how can I join? How can I be a part? And that's where we start. And that's where the unity starts to get bigger, and that's actually happening. It's just that main media is not mainstream media. It's never going to show that,
Right.
All right. So let me ask you this. I got two more questions before we get off.
Okay.
How do you deal with self-doubt when you're expected to have all the answers?
I really, and I don't want it to come off as, cocky or whatever, but when it comes to what I'm good at, I very rarely have self-doubt because I'm a statistics buff. I love to know the statistics. I love to be prepared. I will never engage into something without being prepared, which is why that I'll never give a sound bite on the spur of the moment because if I don't look the facts up or look it up or look into it or investigate a little bit, I'm not going to go on the record and say nothing about it because I'm not sure. And so for me, I like to always be abreast. Like if I have topics that I do workshops on, like I do a prisoner reentry workshop, I do
No, that's
maximizing the
dope.
ministry for churches, I do at-risk youth, I do lateral management, I do the CEO summit for business owners. So all of these things, I make sure that I'm currently abreast to the statistics and to all of the, information for as far as research. So when I talk about what I'm talking about, I'm always prepared and I always have the statistics to back up what I'm saying. So I'm never unprepared in that right. However, um, sometimes you can be caught off guard and need to, have a quick comeback. But for the most part, man, I can't even say that I'm, caught up unprepared because I pride myself on being prepared and doing the things that always help me to stay, above board, above water, so to speak.
Yeah, that's dope. That's definitely dope. All right. Last and final question, bro. And now this
Okay.
is something I'm gonna put the camera on me. Hold on. This is something that I ask all my guests. I ask them this all the time. And I always get a different answer, which is why I love to ask this question. It is my favorite question. I have been asking this question since season 1. We're on season 4.
Okay.
So if it's one thing life has taught you, what is that and why?
The ultimate life lesson, and I got this from my mom's, and I didn't understand it when she told it to me, but now as an adult, I have my own kids and real bills and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The one thing overall is that life has taught me is that you have to get up and do it yourself. Nobody's coming to save you.
Nobody's coming to save you.
You gotta make it happen. Nobody's
Except
coming to save you.
except Christ. Except Christ. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Well, like, I'm talking about as far as humans. And if by happenstance that somebody do come and help you, appreciate it, but don't expect it.
That's right. That's right. Hey man, that was definitely a dope response. I love that. Hey man, you gotta come on again, man. It was great having this
Listen,
energy.
man.
It was great chopping it up with you, man. Anything you want to say to the viewers before we leave? Let them know where
One
they can
thing.
find you and everything too.
So you can find me on Facebook, Nathaniel Moore. You can find me on TikTok, More Brand CEO. You can find me on Instagram at the More Brand. I'm gonna be having a website built up this year. I'm gonna be upgrading, my podcast. I'm building a lot of different content. The More Brand. Listen, one of my biggest role models in business, one of my biggest inspirations, so I say, in business is Ted Turner. Ted Turner created Cartoon Network. He created TBS, TNT. He was once the owner of the Braves and Atlanta Falcons. He also created CNN. They told Ted Turner that a 24-hour news network would never work. It will never happen. And now CNN is the gospel. If you don't see it on CNN, it ain't real. And so I want to say to everybody, man, whatever your dreams are, no matter how big they are, work towards it, educate yourself so you can accomplish it, and grind, man. No matter, you have to be able to say, listen, whether I'm in a crowd of 1,000 or whether I'm in a crowd of 200 or whether I'm in a crowd of 2, I have to be able to execute my goals, my purpose, my mission. And you got to stay steadfast. Even when it's not working, you still got to believe. Even if you're not going to see the fruits of your labor, you still got to believe, because guess
That's
what?
right.
The work that you put down now, somebody else going to come up and you're going to pass the baton, and they going to take it, because Martin Luther King didn't get to see Black Lives Matter. He didn't get to see the Me Too movement. He didn't get to see Harvey Weinstein go down. He didn't get to see Jeffrey Epstein go down. He didn't get to see, these dudes go down. He didn't get to see Derek Chauvin go to jail for killing George Floyd. He didn't get to see the guys get arrested for killing Breonna Taylor. So there are a
That's
lot
right.
of things that are happening, you know, that he wanted for us that he didn't get to see, but he put it in motion. There's a lot of things that Malcolm X didn't get to see, but he put it in motion. And I live by one of his sayings: by any means
Means
necessary.
necessary.
Listen, you got to believe in yourself. And before Martin Luther King became a national treasure, he already knew what he would become. He knew that he was going to die. He knew that one day they was going to honor him because he already was setting that in place. He just didn't tell the rest of the world because we were too busy trying to catch up to the policies and procedures that we didn't understand. And here is one thing that I want us as Black people to understand: we are we judge whether we want to help and collaborate by whether we like a person personally. That is the biggest mistake that you will ever make, and here's why: for two reasons. One, the NAACP originally did not agree with Martin Luther King's outlook on things. The NAACP did not originally back him. It was late in the ninth hour, during the bus boycott when they started to back him. And the only reason why they backed him was due to Rosa Parks. A lot of people don't know that the Rosa Parks wasn't some tired old lady who came
She
from
sure
work,
wasn't. She was
didn't
young.
want to give up her seat. Rosa Parks worked for the NAACP. She was one of the organizers, and she had another young lady who was going to do the bus boycott, but she got scared because she knew that if she didn't give up her seat, she would have got arrested. Nobody wanted to face the police, but Rosa Parks, a Black woman, said, "You know what? I'm going to take one for the team, and I'm going to become a national treasure." So because nobody else wanted to do it, she said, "I'm going to go on this bus and I'm going to boycott and I'm going to start this. I'm going to put it in motion so that we could make this progress." So what that tells me is that a lot of times what you fight for doesn't necessarily have to affect you. You have to do it for the culture. And if you don't do it for the culture and only for yourself, you are not doing it for the right reasons. You have to do it for those. You have to fight for the people who don't like you. You have to fight for the people who are going to talk about you. You have to fight for the people who set you up. You have to fight for the people who tried to backdoor you. You have to try to fight for the people who tried to sabotage you. You're fighting for those same people who want you to fail. That's when you know that you really about this. That's when you know that you ain't doing it for the clout. You ain't doing it for no op-ed research. You ain't doing it for no photo op. You're doing it for the culture. When you do it for the culture, you're saying, "Listen, I know this brother hate my guts and he will kill me if he can, but I'm fighting for him too." So, and that's the only thing that's missing now than in the civil rights era. We don't have that selflessness that say, "Listen, even though it's not affecting my house, it's affecting Tig's house, so I'm gonna still do it."
Someone else's house. That's right.
And that's the only thing. Somebody asked me, said, "Well, when I originally heard of Black Lives Matter when they first came on the scene, they said, what's the biggest difference you think between the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on versus civil rights?" I said, "We are not okay being in the line of fire. We want everything to come at a comfortability, and it can't."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody,
I
but
wouldn't say that. I like I said, I think there are a lot of misconceptions about Black Lives Matter.
no.
People need to
Here's the
really
thing.
see it for themselves to
No,
know.
here's the thing. A lot of people are doing good work, but there's a difference between doing good work and
If you
purposely
getting
being a
shot
martyr.
and locked up, you definitely willing to go in for the cause. And that's actually
Yeah,
happening. That's why I said it's two different Black Lives Matter, and people need to know the difference between the two.
yeah,
One be on red carpets,
right,
that ain't the real ones. And then there's the organization I'm in.
right,
We on the front line, boots on the ground.
right.
So that's why I say that. There's a lot of misconceptions, bro. It's a lot of misconceptions. But listen, man, thank you for the time that you spent on the pot. We're going to sign off. Don't hang up. I'm going to close out the show. and we could chop it up for a few minutes. So just stay on the line, and I'm going to close out the show.
Okay, got you. Copy. Yep.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed yourself on this Wednesday, Hump Day. Once again, this episode is brought to you by Collywood TV, Collywood Radio, Dollar Radio, Going In Radio, DamaniBrand.com, and NorShadeDemoreBoutique.com. Once again, it's your boy Tigmatic. I'm signing out. Peace.
What's up, y'all? Tune into the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic.
Radio for the Pop Podcast with your boy Tigmatic.
Pop Podcast, stirring the pot.
So tune into the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic on Collywood TV.
Tune in to the Pop Podcast, my boy Tigmatic.
And Going In Radio. You might get some good music and some knowledge.